Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the To Hull and Back podcast, proudly sponsored by the Old Zoological Bar in Hull. Nathaniel, the turncoat, has turned his back on the To Hull and Back podcast this evening and is instead in Greece somewhere. So me, Will and Chris are picking up the slack. How are we? How dare he go on holiday? Exactly. How dare he? Not the fact I missed the pre-season predictions because I was abroad.
Yeah.
How are we, lads?
I forgot about that. Yeah, real good.
Still drying out.
Yeah.
Still drying out. It was a soggy one, wasn't it? But the football certainly didn't dampen any spirits.
Oh, they're all out tonight.
Thank you for watching the Hull and Back podcast.
See you later.
Yeah.
Look, it was a great day. Beating a team that's just come down from the Premier League in the manner we did, all in the presence of possibly the most well-known Hull City legend from the Premier League days, certain Mr. Giovani.
Jan Vinegar of Hesseling.
He's one I would love them to bring back. Now, Will, you and I knew there was a possibility of Gio coming back for a little while, didn't we? But to see it actually happen,
it's a lovely sight.
It's wholesome, isn't it?
It was a lovely precursor to the delight that followed in the 90 minutes after his appearance.
Chris, give us some memories of Giovani, first of all.
You could say, where do you start? But it's always that one that sticks out, isn't there? There's always that one. Well, everyone's going to reminisce. No matter what, you're always going to look back at that Arsenal game as well. That is just...
That week.
It's that week. Yeah. What a goal that was as well. It's the one that you always see get replayed as well. It's the one that will always be forever in a lot of memories. It's one of the greatest goals we've ever seen from someone in a black and amber. And it will always be probably remembered as one of the best goals we've ever seen in a black and amber as well, because it was just...
He's a very streets won't forget type player, I think.
He is.
Yeah. And I mean, for what he did at the club, it is literally legendary status that forever and ever will always live on, regardless of everything else that happened within the seasons to follow. It was just such good memories. I still get a little bit giddy about it to this day, but yeah, no, that Arsenal goal, it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be that number one up there. I mean, what about you guys? There's got to be more than me just saying this Arsenal goal. There's got to be one that stands out.
Personally, it's the diving header against West Brom.
Oh, I love that one.
Well. Put us top of that game that put us top of the Premier League at the time.
Yep.
That's that. I love that goal. Because obviously you're going to mention Arsenal, you're going to mention Tottenham, you're going to mention Fulham. They're like the three big ones.
Mm.
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting the man himself, and he came with his partner, and he came with his son, and we were trying to explain to his son, who's around about my age, so won't remember his dad playing in this city and wearing the Hull City colours, just how adored Giovani is in this city. Like, you go to Manchester as an example, and quite a lot of Man City fans wouldn't recognise him if he walked straight past them. But here, in Hull,
some of the slightly older ones might remember him scoring in the Manchester derby, and that's about it.
Yeah. But in Hull, there is not a Hull City fan who does not know, who hears the name Giovani and goes, "What? Who's that?" No matter how young or old you are as a Hull City fan, everyone knows Giovani. And that's what we were trying to explain to his son, just how special his dad was as a player. and it was brilliant to have him back and have him come out on the pitch. I mean, it ruined Tigers burning bright a little bit because he took up a bit of time. But come on, that's a small price to pay.
He took up a bit of time. The referee brought us out about 12, 15 hours early.
Yeah. But yeah, Giovani, what a legend. We'll see. He was here. He was at a game not too long ago. As in the grand scheme of things, anyway, it was sort of 2022, 23 sort of time. Umbro flew him out for a game and he was back in Hull, but it wasn't like a public thing. He just sort of appeared at the game. This time, everyone knew he was there. And I'm glad they made such a fanfare around him and the reception he got was so special. And hopefully we see him again in the next couple of years because every time he comes back to Hull, obviously living in Brazil, he won't come very often. He should get that reception for sure.
I mean,
and he got to see some of his old teammates at the game as well.
With that weather, I would come back anywhere.
It's a bit different to Brazil, that weather, isn't it?
Cabana in Rio. Oh no, I'll go to Hull in the absolute pissing rain.
But he bumped into Dean Windass and Brian Hughes while he was in hospitality as well. So saw some of his old teammates. I'm not sure how well communicating with them went because he can't speak a word of English now, Giovani. But I'm sure he'd have made do. And I'm sure that, because I know for a definite that Dino hasn't kept in contact with Giovani and they lost contact after they both left Hull City. And I know that Dino was looking forward to seeing Gio, and I'm sure the same goes for Brian Hughes as well. So I'm pleased that they all got that moment and they got to watch a good game of football on the side. And should we talk a bit about that now?
Oh yes, we need to, don't we?
Yeah, it was a nice.
Where do you want to start?
Warm up on it.
A nice warm up.
Yeah,
look, I'm going to be a bit controversial here and sort of say that I don't think we were absolutely spellbinding. We played well, don't get me wrong. But I think Southampton was so absolutely unbelievably shite that all we had to do was take the chances when they came our way, which we did. And Southampton, for all the possession they had, they never, ever tested Ivo Panda, really. And all the times they went forward, after we got that second goal, I was never worried that they would get back into the game. And that's testament to how well we were playing, even though, as a caveat, I did say that we weren't spellbinding. It wasn't as good a controlling performance as Oxford, if you get what I'm trying to say, but we did our job superbly.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you, Joe. I mean, I don't want to come across as saying, "Oh, we're being negative." I'm going to highlight the bad points because there weren't
really
any
bad points.
Bad points. No, it came across a very similar style from Southampton's point of view as what we were like over the last two seasons with respect to a lot of possession, because they did have a lot of possession. They had 71% possession overall, and passes as well. They had 612 passes to our 252 passes. So something along those lines was very similar to Hull City stats last season, but we just couldn't do anything in the final third. And to be honest, that was Southampton's biggest issue. They just didn't really look like scoring ever. I mean, yes, okay, they did score that one where we just kind of switched off in the last 60 seconds of the game. But how we are this season, our finishing, I mean, McBurney, we'll go into him soon, but it is such a nice revelation to have not only the deliveries come in the box, but someone who's actually on the end of them that could finish them as well, which is something that we've been missing throughout the season. Well, all the seasons put together, sorry, not just last season, every previous season until we go back to Hernandez pretty much. Maybe Delap if we're lucky, if we want to kind of class it as that as well. But overall, I agree, Joe. I think it's not that we played spectacular football, but we played good football to win the game and win the game confidently. Everybody had a job to do, and it looked like they were doing it. There was a few people. I mean, I guess we'll speak about Balumi coming off as well in shortly, but I thought that kind of substitute change changed the dynamic until about half time. Maybe actually even the start of the second half. I thought the dynamic changed from when Balumi was on the pitch, and it just didn't feel right at first until he actually got moved in to start sitting a bit deeper after all the substitutes were kind of done later on. But the game itself, you could see everybody was grafting, putting a shift on a really wet day as well. And I don't know how you guys felt about it, and a lot of people who are watching now, but a lot of the time it felt like we were playing against 12 men with the referee, and the linesman, because some of those calls I thought were absolutely outrageous from them with respect to giving fouls against or missing fouls. I mean, God, he even missed a little bust up on the pitch as well.
With Destan.
With Destan, exactly. And his back was just completely turned. Don't get me wrong, everybody else was carrying on and playing, but it was a very... Southampton were playing a bit of a dirty game and getting away with it, and the ref was just buying it. And I actually felt like that was the way it was going to go anyway, actually watching the referee in his lineup at the beginning. It was almost like, oh, Southampton friends. Oh, you've just come back down from the Premiership friends. That's what it felt like from the very beginning with the referee. So it was kind of another disappointing display from a Championship referee, unlike the previous week where we actually complimented the referee. So again, it's upsetting to see. But from a whole City perspective, how we played, it's brilliant to see Joseph getting on the board again. Giles, Coyle, Egan. Lunny.
You could keep going forever, Christian. I could. Forever. And that's testament to how good a job everyone did, isn't it, Will?
Firstly, you negative bastards. That was fantastic. It was a great performance. It was a perfect example of how a manager can utterly outthink and outfight another manager. City played perfectly into Southampton's hands. Southampton played perfectly into City's hands. Because obviously he knew that Will Still's a man who, similar to many managers this time, likes a possession-based game, and he let them have the ball, but he did it in a way where he knew that we would be compact and we would be aggressive on the press, and in a way that meant that they couldn't really create any chances from it. And he knew that doing so meant would be more likely to get chances on the counter, and of course, pretty much all 3 goals came from a counter attacks. What was the original question you asked me then, Joe?
Testament to just how well everyone did their job, wasn't it? That
Christian
could have
nobody had a bad performance, really. No one on our side had a bad performance. That is testament. It's a shame that Balloon was on. He was great, and then when he went off, obviously it was a shame that he went off. Hopefully it's precautionary. Usually it's very common after an ACL for a player to do a hamstring or something like that, pull their hamstring or whatever.
To do a muscle injury.
Yeah. It's not that rare. So it's probably in a way it's probably good that it's happened so early on, so you can get it out of the way and get rid of it and then get back on with it. Secondly, him going off didn't really badly affect us that much. Obviously, he brought on Jabi and he changed it up slightly. How we were tactically playing. Start of the second half, which was probably Southampton's best bit of football. In general, when they pressed us back, maybe a bit. I think they pressed us a bit too much. We allowed them too much of the keeping us in our half. But we weathered it. I think that period at the start of the second half last season, we'd have conceded and we'd have probably lost the game. Usually at that point, we'd have let a goal go in, and we'd have probably gone on to lose or hang on for a draw. But they didn't. The team, as they've shown this season, are much more defensively astute. It's a bit more solid at the back. They've shown a little bit more, and they held on, and created something. And once the second goal went in, it felt like once the second goal went in, Southampton were kind of a bit like they felt like they were out of it. Yeah, and also the third one came soon after, and that killed it off completely. And City could have had more. There was for a while after that third goal, there was a few chances for City that could have taken on another day. And it's a shame that they conceded that consolation at the end, obviously, because they deserved the clean sheet from the game. But, well, for me personally, though, as someone who normally predicts 3-0 in the predictions for this podcast, I'm very glad they didn't win 3-0 because that would have destroyed me somewhat. But yeah, there wasn't a bad. The only one that bothered me at the time was when Giovani came on. At first, he was a little like headless chicken for like the first few minutes he was on the pitch, but he very quickly grew into the game and he very quickly looked very good once he got the ball.
He did grow into the game, didn't he? And I thought towards the end he was looking very, very.
He had a really good chance to score. To be fair, that he created himself.
He did, and there were so many times I saw him on the ball. Head down, just charging us forward, dragging the whole team forward with him. But so many times I saw McBurney peeling off and he just didn't play the ball. And that's obviously like it's a youth thing, it's an experience thing. He'll the more he trains with McBurney, the more they play together, he will spot those runs. He will know where Ollie McBurney wants to be at any given time on the football pitch. But just looking at the defence, a performance like that, especially given the amount of goals that they've shipped, it'll do wonders for all their confidence, won't it?
You would hope so. You would definitely hope so. And yeah, I mean, it was one of those where the defence pretty much was controlling the game for us. With the creations that they were kind of pushing forward as well. I mean, Coyle. I've been a critic of Coyle and Giles over the past couple of seasons, haven't I? Really, I've been probably the biggest critic of both of them, and you can't criticise anything that we've seen out of them thus far this season. Especially with Coyle coming in late after his injury that he got in Turkey as well. That was like a different Coyle I saw today, a completely.
He's
different
got his confidence back, hasn't he? He's massively got his confidence back.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where usually this time last season already would have been turning around saying, why is he passing backwards? Why is he going sideways? Where was the intent? And all throughout the game, I thought Coyle was kind of, again, confidence of going forward and actually producing a cross. Don't get me wrong, one or two crosses went wayward. And they really did. One or two crosses really did go wayward.
The second goal.
When
you watch it, you can see Coyle the moment he hits that ball forward. You see him fist bump. That he knows he has got that cross absolutely spot on McBurney's head. He knows that they're going to create he knows that's created a really good chance to score.
You think that's something they've been working on training grounds something along that type of counter attack? Because it's obviously.
I think Sergei in general is clearly focused on the wings and particularly the fullbacks getting forward and getting crosses in, because almost all our goals come from the fullback crosses. All of them.
Yeah, they were yesterday, weren't they? And we'll use this opportunity to talk about Giles and Coyle in turn. Like Coyle's ball for the first goal, it's a brilliant ball. It's into such a good area, but Gelhardt has no right to win that header, and he gets that. He was busy. Bernie's little nickname for him.
You see the calves are absolutely amazing.
He has no right to win that header, Joffrey, and he does it. And then, like you say, Will, for the second goal, it's a perfect cross for McBurney, who nods it down to Lundstrom. And for Giles, from the free kick, he puts it into a great area. It's not an easy header for McBurney by any means, but he manages to adjust his body and get himself in the right place just to get enough solid contact on it to divert it past Bazunu. It's such a good bit of play, and that's clearly something they've been working on.
Yesterday, for me, was the tale of three players who have had a lot of shit thrown their way in recent times, up until recently, and they're finally getting their dues. And obviously, we've mentioned Coyle and Giles, but Carl Joseph.
Deserves a special mention.
he absolutely ran himself into to the point where he gave himself a serious cramp at one point, and he could barely walk. But he was he's a different player. You could tell when he had the interview earlier in the season, and he said the last season he was pretty much playing injured.
He was, yeah.
And if that's the case, you can tell now the way he's playing at the moment, at least in the last few games. And I get before the game, people were a bit concerned because he started, because I think people were expecting Ndal to be back into the team, especially with believing in the other side. And I get that to an extent, but I think he's shown enough to warrant that. And obviously, he's paid dividends because he scored a goal and then got off celebrating like Marco Tardelli in a World Cup final.
He was loving it, wasn't he?
Well, it's his first goal in the NKM. I don't believe he celebrated the goal like you should celebrate a goal. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Joy. But he brought himself to the ground once again. He's just both attacking and defensively. He had a good game as well, and it's just nice to see someone who's struggled a bit. I've got a bit of criticism, some of it rightly so, but some of it maybe can be a bit over the top. But it's nice to see someone like that getting their plaudits that they deserve.
Yeah, 100%. That's, I believe, we were having a discussion about this yesterday, and I've not double checked this, but I think the last time two strikers scored in the same game for us was January 2023, Wigan away under Liam Rosenior, when Tyler Smith and Oscar Estupinian scored in the same game.
That sounds ridiculous, but not many teams play with two strikers anymore.
I know, which is, it's symptomatic of the one striker system a lot of teams play now, isn't it? And that we've played.
The game actually ended up being quite a good example of what's happening a lot at the moment in football, which is the idea of the passing games kind of going away a little bit and being more direct and being more just gun-ho forward, the way to go on the counter-attack. It's tactically that's been happening a lot recently elsewhere, and I thought that game summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that, Will, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's all thanks to Sergei, really, isn't it? I mean, we can talk all day about the guys on the pitch as well, but
oh yeah, thank you, Nathaniel. Delap and Ohio. No, did Delap score against Ipswich?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not even here.
Can you really? You. Yeah, he's not even here. He's still doing his way.
He's correcting you.
Was Ohio's really a goal? Or did it bounce off some part of his body by accident?
Well, consider that what Carl Joseph then, technically, if you're going to do that, Christian.
No, because Carl Joseph ran into it intentionally. Ohio, it just kind of bounces off him. But no, let's get this right. Like, with respect to Sergei Ball at the moment, the kind of the direct play and getting things moving forward and going. Are you entertained? Because I am. That's the thing. I am more entertained watching this type of football at the moment. The attacking threat from Hull, when we are going forward, all of a sudden, we're expecting something at the end of the attacking threat now. Before, when we were going forward, we were just expecting it to go back to the goalkeeper and go side to side. So, yeah, now I would really like to kind of put across that this is mainly because of Sergei at the moment, that the lads are kind of waking up and actually they're on board with his style of football as well. And you can see the lads are enjoying it, because if they were, they wouldn't be celebrating like they are. They really wouldn't be celebrating like they are.
It's so nice. There's such a nice atmosphere at the training ground when I've been down for pressers, and Will and I get to sit in these things and listen to Sergei Yakirovich, and he is a fascinating speaker, isn't he, Will?
He's both blunt but also quite funny at times, which is it's an interesting crossover. He can be quite jokey, yet sometimes he can be he manages to somehow be jokey and serious, which I don't know how that works, but he does it somehow.
Like when I was sat in his very first press conference with Adjan and Jared Dublin, and I walked away from that going, he seems quite an intimidating character, quite hard shell, and it doesn't seem
Well,
like
his presence is definitely a little bit harder than his actual personality.
Yeah, and I said you didn't immediately get in that first press conference the same sense of who he was as a person that you did with Rosinha and with Sayers, as an example. And with Walter, you got the complete opposite sense. He turned out to be an absolute, we won't go there.
Hated everyone.
But in his presser seemed quite like jovial. But Sergei, he was measured, he was reserved initially, and I said, we'll wear him down eventually. Like talking collectively about
Good
like
still, don't start that one.
Baz and Mike seeing them every week. But he does seem now such like a bubbly character, someone who is jokey and understands like what media need and what he needs to say, and give people good news lines, but also like being serious and actually getting down into like the crux of a question or the crux of an issue. And he is so, I'll use that word again, fascinating. And I desperately want this to work for him, because he is so, and his style of football reflects that. He's got everyone on side. And I hope it stays that way. And I hope that games like this don't get expectations higher up, into like stratospheric levels, but just let's enjoy it and put no pressure on him, and just let him do what he can do in what is still a transfer embargo restriction situation. I think, Sergei summed up perfectly, Jan. Emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, the game being post-match, that press conference post-match of yesterday was probably the most interesting and probably best one that there's been there since the last game of Tim Walter, though for completely different reasons. Whereas that one was an incredibly interesting thing because of how hostile it was. This one was the complete opposite, because we had obviously Sergei come in, and he was obviously very cordial, very emotionally intelligent, spoke high. It's funny because the first thing he said when he came in, understandably, was he was annoyed about the goal he conceded, which is understandable. But then we had Ollie McBurney in there as well, and he is unbelievably fantastic speaker. He's an unbelievably fantastic interview. He's so honest. You can tell he's a man who's matured quite a lot in over time, like a person who's done some things he probably shouldn't have done in the past, and has clearly learned from them, and has clearly matured with his footballing experience, especially going out to Spain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The presser was he was cracking jokes with a lot of the journalists in the press room as well, and he was even shouting out stuff like his former captain at Las Palmas, Kirian Rodriguez, who obviously was his captain last season when he was there, was diagnosed with cancer while he was there, and obviously stopped playing. And he was on about him for a while. And he was on about how his brother had previously had cancer as well. I think it was Hodgkin's lymphoma, was what he was saying, which is it's not a nice one to have. But he was on about how the birth are out of that area now, and it was just nice to hear him talk about such a lot of different things in such a mature and serious manner, while also being very happy and very positive. Because obviously he was negative about his own performance, which I found quite funny, because he had a really good performance.
He did. He's been voted man of the match, and McBurney is the most productive player in the championship.
Yeah, he's top of the production.
He is the most productive attacking player in the championship, and Ryan Giles has got 3 assists as well. That's a combination. Giles ball in and McBurney finishing it that we're going to see an awful lot more. And there's not a lot else to say on the matter. I want to talk about Amir Hadjiahmetovic very quickly, because I think he is. I'll be honest, skeptical bringing a player in from Turkey again. We've seen this story before, but Hadjiahmetovic, early stages, looks very, very good. He looks as though he is that missing piece of the puzzle in the midfield, which allows Lundstrom to get further up the pitch and drag the team forward, which could allow Crooks to do the same job, which could allow JB to do the same job. It means Gelhardt can have a bit more freedom in the 10, and he can just sit back and keep us ticking in a very Jean-Michel Seri-esque way, and that fits this system superbly. He said in his interview, he did the pre-match presser, he said he knew how much the manager wanted him, and that he didn't have to be talked around by the owner playing, like using his popularity in Turkey or anything like that. He had the contact with the manager and his staff, and he was sold. There was only one place he wanted to be, and he actually had an offer from Burnley a couple of years ago. He said in that presser that didn't come off for whatever reason. I think it was that Burnley wouldn't pay the asking price that Besiktas had for him. But I think he looks superb, and I hope you agree with me, Will or Chris, whoever wants to jump in on this. He's the answer to our midfield issues. Early doors,
You're bang on. But everything you said, there's no point jumping in on after like saying stuff like that, Joe, because I was the exact same. Skeptical at first. No one watching now, or no one can even say that they were a little bit skeptical at first. Obviously, you know, with the kind of another player from Turkey or that kind of hype. Because how many times have we seen it so many times since? You know, it's been literally 2 or 3 times every season so far. And I can't really say any of them have really panned out. But good feelings now. Good feelings. I mean, especially even the last game. And it was that switch ball that he did over when we got the goal. And he knew what he was doing. He knew he was going over to Giles.
Oh, yeah, that ball to Giles. Yeah.
Yeah, that straight away when he did that, my opinion of him, I can't say I had a negative or positive. It was completely neutral. But his stock in my head raised straight away once he did that cross, and I thought, hang about. I like this.
I think against Swansea, I was a little bit worried coming out of the Swansea game, because I did think he looked a little rusty, and him and Lundstrom didn't look like as good a partnership as his first game they barely trained together. I can completely understand it, because in this game, him and Lundstrom look fantastic together. And obviously that's training on the ground, getting used to the football, constantly playing with one another. So it's made it sense straight away. He's shown that they can play together, and it's going to be so interesting. Like, let's say if everyone keeps fit, come the new year, when you'll have Crooks back, and then you'll also have Matazo back. And it's like, who on earth do you pick in that midfield?
Yeah. Matazo has to be in there for me when he's fully firing, because I think
he can't just walk in. You can't justify just walking in. They carry on playing like they are.
That's what I was going to go on to say. But like, once Matazo is back at that stage, who on earth do you drop for him? You don't know. You hope to God we don't have any other injuries by that stage, but you hope it's not a simple thing where, one gets injured, that's an easy thing, Matazo just walks in. Like Dean Holden said in the pre-match the other day, he mentioned Elliot Matazo by name, which you don't often have in these pressers, with him being quite far away from a return. There he goes. We're looking forward to welcoming Matazo back as soon as possible. And he then adds, superb player. So they know what quality he's got, but they're having the same discussions we're having. When he's fit, where do you put him? And then there's the added question mark
who do you drop?
Yeah, who do you drop? And do we have, given he's signed for Maribor, how soon does Oscar Zambrano become a Hull City player? Is he on loan in January?
He's not currently a Hull City player, so don't talk about him like he's going to be.
Yeah, that's another one. We'll wait until January until that discussion comes out, shall we?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, Amir looked good. Lundstrom, I thought in the first half, God, the way he's charging about here, he's going to get sent off if he's not careful. Then in the second half, he was brilliant.
I mean, the ref was liking his yellow cards, to be fair, so it wouldn't have surprised me if at some point someone had got sent off. On players who are still waiting to come back, though, it's it's a crying shame that Miller just isn't ready for this game yet. Because I feel at 3-0, at 3-0 up, that could have been a perfect time to bring someone like Miller on, just to get his legs back into the game. But hopefully he's going to be back. But apparently
he's Jai and Matt Crooks, right?
Well, according to Sergei says there's a good chance they'll be back in the fold come the Preston game.
Watford. Yeah, for Watford or Preston.
I won't say Watford just in case, because Sergei said 70-80% chance. So I'll say the Preston just to be safe.
Yeah.
But come the international break, essentially, there's a good chance they'll all be back. Put it that way.
Yeah,
but I suppose Miller coming back times with Bellumi getting injured again, which is hopefully, like I say, precautionary. I don't think it was too serious, but obviously we need to know. We can't say for certain it wasn't too serious because you never know. And hopefully it's just a pulled hamstring and not a torn one. But the good thing at the moment is we've suddenly got strength in depth again, which you felt like we hadn't. Because you can lose Bellumi, you can bring on someone like a Giovani who isn't even in that position. You can bring on a Ndala. We'll be able to bring on Miller soon if we wanted to at that point. You can play Joseph out wide if needs be. You can play Gelhardt out wide if needs be.
Well, at the minute, Sergei said that the left wing spot is Kyle Joseph's to lose.
Understandable the performances he put in the last couple of games.
But
I do feel sorry for Ndala.
Oh, no,
he didn't get on the field. But then I didn't even mention Akintola. He's another one who can play out wide as well. And I thought had a decent game when he came on. But yeah, it's a shame that Ndala. But Joseph's shown that. Well, I suppose now the right wing, there's an opportunity there for one of them with Bellumi coming off injured.
Yeah, just on Bellumi, very quickly, he's got a scan on Monday, I think it is.
Yeah.
To determine, but just a little bit deeper on his performance. I know we talked about it earlier. I thought he looked really lively. I thought every time you got on the ball, you could see Ryan Manning sort of stepping back a little bit and not trying to commit too early. But there was one moment with Bellumi that sort of wound me up a little bit. He was on the right side of the penalty area. He cut past Manning or Stevens, I think it was, one of the two once in the first half. Then cut back again onto his right. And it's then where he's got a bit of opening to try and, I thought, he should have had a dig there and just tried to test Bazunu early doors. It was like 10, 11 minutes in. But instead, he's shooting with his right. He tried to cut back again onto his left. And that just sort of frustrated me a little bit because I know that he's got that right-footed shot in him. But equally, first start, he'll just want to get a shot off with his left foot. And I understand why he's done it, but just come on, Mo. Have a bit of confidence in yourself. Have a dig. Just please. But overall, yeah, I thought he was...
I'll be negative.
I thought he was really, really bright, really lively. And hopefully...
Missed seeing him, haven't we? We've missed seeing him. We have completely...
Isn't serious. Isn't too serious. But time will obviously tell on... Time will obviously tell on that one. Final thing before we move on to and look ahead that I want to mention is something that Mike White put out earlier, which is that having just left Swansea are trying to get Martin Hodge back, which I think, if it comes off, would be a massive blow for us.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, the first thing I'll say there is they're trying. That doesn't mean they have. He also said, Mike White, which you've left out there, you negative bastard, that the relationship between a lot of them is good. And there's an idea that they believe that he wouldn't go. So you'd hope that continued as is. It would be a damn shame if we did lose him because clearly him and Dublin have done wonders with this transfer window.
Oh, yeah, massively.
It would be a shame. But sorry, Christine, I cut you off before you had a chance to speak.
No. Well, you've said exactly what I was about to say. Joe, stop being negative, you. No, But that's the thing. I think what was said from in the kind of the post that came up was, the relationship is strong at Hull at the moment, so we don't really see it happening. But obviously, you don't know what Swansea are going to come and turn around and what temptations are going to throw. It is something that we don't want because of. I mean, God, look at this summer. Look at the kind of where we're at now. Look at the predicaments that we were in to where we are now. It's not something that you want to see. If anything, we're at the stage now where we don't want any sort of, I don't want to call it a negative change, as in someone leaving, because things are just currently, say it, stable currently, to an extent anyway. Obviously, we still have things in the background, but from a fan base on the outside, things appear to be a lot more settled as they are. And obviously, the only things that we're looking at now going through is just improvement, not getting rid of the situations and having to look for somebody else and have a dramatic change, because we're all happy with what we've seen up to this point now. So let's not let's just hope nothing changes. Let's just hope nothing changes, because like we say, the relationship's good. So let's hope the relationship is strong enough to not tempt him away.
Yeah, I think it'd be a shame to lose him.
Can I just add one last thing before we move on from the Southampton game? Well, it's kind of two things. It's one, Will Still. Firstly, you're a fraud. Secondly, it's not. This annoys me every single time when it happens. It's not just him. It happened a lot. It was a very particular bugbear during the League One season. Is it impossible for a manager to even slightly praise an opposition team when they've won comfortably? Because he said nothing on City at all. It was all about his team. And secondly, on that, which doesn't help either, is, and I've written about this before, the coverage of the game outside of Hull was shite again. It was all about Will Still again. If you watch the EFL highlight show, which is already an absolute shit show of a show as it is, the highlights where they talked about Will Still in the build-up, they then showed all 3 goals and nothing else, and then they spoke to Will Still after the game, and that was it. They even showed a Sergei interview or quote, and it's like, we won 3-1, and it's all about Southampton.
Yeah, Sergei has just beaten Will Still 3-1. Why are we not hearing what he's got to say?
On the highlight show, they showed Blackburn Ipswich's game before about 6 other matches. You know, the game that ended early from an abandonment from rain. Still got highlights before several other games. What sense does that make?
What, you mean the game that's going to get replayed, likely?
Yeah.
For 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's one of the decisions they've got to make.
Ranking about the EFL shows, it's old hat now at this point, because I think I say something every week about it. How shite it is now. I want Maggie Christine back with Steve Claridge, please, or Colin Murray.
Yeah, Colin Murray on Quest. That was good. It was. They got through everything, but they did.
That's another point that someone said. Will Still call all our goals lucky. No,
really?
You
just
can
because
maybe
they're
argue,
not.
The only one you could argue there was some luck from was maybe the first one, because it fell to Joseph, but that's good movement from Joseph to get in that
I was going to say, you can't call any of those goals lucky at all. Like, say, even with Joseph.
The only one you could argue is the first one. The second one's a fantastic team move. The third one's a great cross from a free kick.
Yeah, set piece in for the third one. And even the first one, like you said, Will, it was the movement from Joseph to get that.
Movement from Joseph. The desire to get it from Gelhardt, the ball from Coyle. Yeah.
There was no luck. It was practiced.
It's very. We've beaten MK Dons under Russell Martin 3-0, and he still says we were the better team.
No, it's when we beat Ipswich 3-0 at their place in League One, and BBC's commentary down there, BBC Radio Suffolk, was like, I'm not impressed with all. They don't look that good. When we were top of League One, and then
we went and won the title.
Strikers didn't really do that much, and I wasn't impressed. I will I know I keep going back to it, the EFL highlight show. It did do one thing right. It showed Sheffield United first, which was fucking hilarious.
Look, Ruben.
Get rid of saying you still have shit.
Although Ruben did a poor job at Sheffield United, then that's
proof
Ruben
it wasn't just him.
Yeah, it's proof that Ruben wasn't the only problem. You're going into a team that's weaker than last year, and that is still so disappointed in having such a good season, but still being in the Championship.
It's funny seeing.
There's not a chance.
It's not even that. It's funny looking at the table and seeing their cross-city neighbours 4 points clear of them. I have no love for either Sheffield club on that one. But it's funny seeing
there's an irony.
The one in crisis doing so much better than the one that's supposedly in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
That's it.
They will get better under Chris Wilder, but they still won't be a million
as long as
miles.
It's after October the 4th.
Yeah, that will. If give it, 3 games now, and then they can start getting better. But
saying that under Wilder, we beat them 3-0 anyway with Ruben Sayers, who has won more games at Bramall Lane as Hull City manager than as Sheffield United manager.
Let's move on, shall we, to Watford. I'm of the belief, by the way, that there will be something revealed before the Watford game, of which you can all just guess what that is. But going down to Vicarage Road,
signing as well.
Oh, you've rumbled me. I
won't lie. Actually, when Balumi went off injured, I briefly was like, "Get Gio in on a short-term deal, real quick. Get him on the pitch." He's here. Do it. He doesn't look any different. Do it. He looks exactly the same age as he was when he was here before.
Could you imagine us doing that if we get JJ Okocha back? That's a man
tease me, Joe. Don't tease me.
That's a man who's still got some footballing talent.
Giovani, JJ Okocha, and Ronaldinho as an attacking midfield trio. Oh.
Then just stick Dino up top.
They want to.
So for Watford then, it's a tough place to go. They've had a good summer window. They've still got that little rat Tommins playing for them. But on the whole, they've obviously not played this weekend yet. They've got Millwall tomorrow, but they've beaten QPR recently. They've had 2 draws against Swansea and Southampton. Lost to Blackburn 1-0. They've not had a brilliant start to the season, but they've still got players who can hurt us, haven't they?
Yeah, of course they have. I mean, Watford are still a very good team, but the thing is about Watford, they've always had decent players. They've just never been able to produce, and especially in the last few seasons. Last season was kind of token of that as well, wasn't it?
It don't help when you change your manager every 5 minutes. There's no cohesion.
Yeah, but we've been down that path as well. Let's be honest. We've done that as well. You know, we've moaned about managers. I mean, look at last season. God, we went through 3 of them technically. Going through the manager situation. So yeah, it's tricky because we've been there. We've done that. We've got the T-shirt. But the games that they've played and the games that they've kind of drawn, won and lost. Oh, what is it? 2 draws, 2 losses, and the 1 win so far out of 5 games. Yeah. I mean, the games that they drew, Southampton.
They drew against Southampton. They drew against Swansea. They lost to Blackburn. They lost to Charlton, and then they've beaten. Oh, I just said it. QPR. Thank you.
And he had a red card at the end, didn't he? As well against QPR. Was it near the end? I think it was, wasn't it? So it goes to show with respect to them that they can still do things with respect to the teams that they've played against the opposition. Because it's still very early in the season, guys. Come on, we're 6 games in. We're about to play the team.
There's a comment here from Louise. Watford are 21st, nothing to fear. Yes, but the table won't take shape until.
Also, worth mentioning, they play tomorrow, so they're going to have less time to prepare for it, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
They'll have a day off, a day and a half off. They'll go easy. They'll go back in on probably Wednesday after they've played.
They'll be in on Wednesday.
They'll have an easy day.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Travel the Friday, so they technically only do have 2.5 days kind of prep time.
It's a home game, Chris. They won't be doing any travelling on Friday.
Sorry, it's a home game, isn't it? I keep forgetting we're away this weekend. Sorry, that's my bad. I just enjoy being at home. I mean, not in the wet, but I enjoy being at home.
How many times have we said that we enjoy home games?
Yeah, I don't recall, but at the moment, yeah, I do. The atmosphere
is interesting that this season we have reached 2 home wins by mid-September, and last season we didn't reach that until Christmas.
2 points better off already this time last season as well. So we're already 2 points better off. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice. But when it comes down to Watford, it's not a team that we can take lightly at all. I think with respect to how we played at weekend as well, the counter-attacking football works, the direct football works, and it's something that we're just going to have to keep going. I do feel we might need to step up the possession a bit more. And, I mean, once we do that, we're going to start creating a heck of a lot more chances, a lot more opportunities and controlling the game more. And it will probably solidify that kind of defence side of things where we're not going to concede that one. And you never know, Will. You might get you 3-0. You never know. Don't shake your head. You know it's going to happen.
Don't say that.
I mean, just looking at Watford's squad quickly, they've kept hold of Yorgi Chakvetadze, who's a good player at this level. Rocco Varta's a good young prospect. Caleb Wiley on loan from Chelsea is a good young defender. But their biggest signing of the summer has been the one that got the most attention anyway was, of course, Nathan Baxter. No, I'm kidding. It's Nestori Irankunda, the Aussie, born in Tanzania, from Bayern Munich, permanent deal. He's already scored a couple of goals for them. He's played
he's a
game, scored twice. That's a good young player they've got there. They have got, although they've not started brilliantly, it's early days and they have got some good young players.
It will be a trickier game than this past one was. The Southampton game was, which is on paper going into them, you'd have thought obviously Southampton was the trickier game, but it will be a trickier game. I think it might even be a trickier game than the Swansea game as well. Personally. I know Swansea are doing okay, but there's something about the way that Watford play. They seem to, in recent years, they've always seemed to do okay against us, which is annoying.
They have.
So I think it'll be a tough one. Definitely be a tough one. If you offered me right now a point, I would take it. I would always take a point away from home, wins at home.
Yeah,
that's what you always want to aim for. So I would always take one right now.
100%. I agree with you, but we're not allowed to predict 1-1s, are we?
Well, you can if you want, but don't.
We're not allowed to predict 1-1s. Before we go on to predictions, Will, do you want to put the league table up and clarify some rules for the viewers?
Yeah, well, we've decided finally to actually give ourselves consequences for our actions of predicting silly results and actually take note of what we've predicted. So I've gone back this season and I've collated all of our predictions that we've done so far this season. With caveat of we're going to do 1 point for a correct result, 3 points for a perfect score as well. Obviously, no points if you get it completely wrong. And it's obviously us 5, and we decided to put in, which me and Nathaniel were about it. We nicked it from the TIFO football podcast. A 1-1 bot that predicts 1-1 for every single game because it's the most common scoreline in football, I think, statistically. So far at this point, obviously we're only 6 games in. The table looks as fuss. Ant's currently top with 4 points. Then joint, obviously it's early in the early days, so quite close scores. Me, Christian, and the 1-1 bot are currently on 3 points. And then Oh, look at there. It's the Hursts who don't know what they're talking about. Joe Nathaniel, bottom with 2 points. It is worth mentioning the scores that were predicted for the Southampton game, if people have forgotten. Obviously, the 1-1 bot, funnily enough, predicted 1-1, as did Joe. Me and Christian predicted a 2-1 win for City and predicted a 1-0 win for City. So we obviously all got a point. And Nathaniel, because he's a psychopath, predicted 7-5 for Southampton. Not sure what he was going for there, but fair enough.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And as a caveat, if you're not on the pod that week, so Nathaniel and Anne, sorry, you are automatically predicting 3-0 City.
So, and then there's also a rule you've added, isn't there, Will, where if you're not on, let's say Ant is not on, so we have a guest in place like we had with Ryan Frankish a few weeks ago. Ryan, in that scenario, could have predicted a score for Ant.
And that'll be given to Ant or whoever wasn't on.
So
you could be really nice and give them an honest score, or you could be evil, like I would, and give them a 5-7 to Southampton, for example.
Give them an 8-all draw, or something like that. So, unfortunately, in Nathaniel and Ant's absence, we haven't got any guests tonight, so we can't.
So they are predicting 3-0 City.
But yeah, they are predicting 3-0 City.
Hey, you never know, that might pay off one time.
It could pay off. It could pay off
this week.
Listen, Will isn't doing 3-0 anymore. So within the podcast, we have to keep the 3-0 joke and tradition going somewhere. We have to keep it going. So this is our way of keeping it going. Will, what are you predicting?
3-0
to Watford.
I'm going to continue with what I predicted last week because I'm boring. I'm going to say 2-1 Hull City again.
Okay. Chris?
While our defence is solid, I still think we'll concede. We always seem to concede no matter what.
Yeah.
But we always seem to score as well when we're playing well. We always seem to score. So...
See, I don't want to come across as boring now, Will, because 2-1, and for those exact reasons, you're hoping not to concede, but you just someone's telling me we're going to. We still might, but I also now feel, which we didn't feel again last season, that we're going to score one more than the opposition because we just are. And
it's very Kevin Keegan, isn't it? Score one more than the opposition.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm down for the 2-1 situation again.
Listen, I'm going to have to.
Don't you dare say the same thing.
I know I had 2-1 in my head, but I'm going to have to change things up now, aren't I? I'm going to go for. I'm going to go 3-2 to City.
Fair enough.
And
risky.
Yeah, we're going on the logic that picking that my 2-1 prediction was taken, and I still want us to win, and I still think that 3-2 wouldn't be out of possibility. I was going to pick 2-2, what Simon's put in chat, but I still think I can see us going there and getting a win. But I would be very, very happy with a 2-2.
Yeah.
If Nathaniel's still watching live, can you put your prediction in chat?
He's predicting 3-0.
He's banned.
Well, yeah, he's not here. He's not here, but we'll put him in. We'll just say, well, that's what he would have predicted if he was here.
And obviously, the 1-1 bot has predicted 4-all.
So we'll keep the scores on the doors updated as we go through.
And embarrass ourselves as the season continues.
Yeah, but we'll see how big the sort of chasm gets between top and bottom.
How much the 1-1 bot wins the table by a mile.
Yeah. How big is the yawn that the chasm, the yawning of the chasm between first and last? Let's see. But Anything else to add, gentlemen? Will, Christian, final thoughts?
From myself, it's just nice to see the revitalization of every player that played on Saturday. With Giles whipping them in, McBurney being the striker we've missed for so long, the midfield looking settled. You know, for me, it's just nice. And for this week, I can be a happy man throughout the week with no troubles, no turbulations. Just we got a good result. We played well, and I'm looking forward to next Saturday.
It was nice to see Mason Bairstow score again for Bolton. It was a nice goal, and it was. It's funny that Nathaniel's not here the week that Ryan Longman scores for Wrexham.
I think he did mention it in the chat. To be honest, I think he did bring it up.
He did.
Yeah, I know. I ignored
it. That's as good a note to end on.
Good on Ryan.
My final thoughts.
A lot of former City players I noticed scored. It felt like a lot of them scored this weekend.
Force for Bolton.
Yeah, you had Harvey Bale scoring for QPR. Obviously, Bowen scoring for West Ham. That's a given.
Bairstow again.
It's Bairstow scored a fantastic effort. That Bairstow scored.
Yeah.
It's 5 for him now. 5.
5 for the season. Well, that's the purpose of.
Well, I think him being there is going to be a win-win for City because either he's going to come back and get us a few quid from a positive season if he carries on, or we've got a player back who's in good confidence, good spirits, and could maybe hit the ground running next season.
Yeah, sounds good to me. My final thoughts are up those Tigers. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, follow, do all that good stuff. Mauled by the Tigers. Goodbye.